I'm gonna be honest with you because I still use my Firecube every single day. And I think that it is a fantastic piece of hardware. For standard out-of-the-box streaming, Amazon's devices do exactly what they're supposed to do for the average person. But for those of us who want a bit more from our tech, it really feels like the walls are starting to close in. We're seeing more updates that remove our favourite features and new restrictions that make it harder to use the side-loaded apps we've relied on for years. When you combine that with limited storage and a home screen that is increasingly buried in ads, a lot of us are hitting a wall where the hardware just feels like it doesn't belong to us anymore. So today we're looking at the bigger question. Can a mini PC replace your Firestick in 2026? And more importantly, is this the proper Pro upgrade for people who want control back? Now, I've already done some of the heavy lifting on the channel to show you that this transition isn't as complicated as it sounds. I've made a full mini PC setup guide and a complete NOX Player walkthrough to show you exactly how to bridge the gap between a Windows environment and the Android apps you're already used to. Those videos are the essential foundation for everything we're talking about today. So if you haven't had a chance to watch them yet, I'll leave the links in the description below so you can get caught up and see the process from the beginning. The goal here is not just to plug a computer into a TV and hope for the best. The goal is to build something that feels fast, clean, and usable from the sofa. A setup that gives you the flexibility of a PC, but still works like a proper streaming machine. The biggest difference when you move to a mini PC isn't just the lack of advertisements, it's the massive amount of power and breathing room you get. Most streaming sticks are running on very restricted mobile chips that are designed for efficiency over power. When you switch to a mini PC, you're moving to a full processor with significantly more RAM, more storage, and more flexibility. You get a desktop browser where you can actually use extensions and manage multiple tabs. You can manage downloads properly and have as much storage as you want to plug in. Instead of constantly fighting with limited space, you can use 256 gigabytes, 500 gigabytes, 1 terabyte, or even more depending on your setup. That means fewer storage warnings, fewer compromises, and a device that can actually grow with you. But hardware is only half of the story. To make a mini PC feel like a proper streaming box, the software matters just as much. Now, NOX Player is a great starting point, and that's why I covered it first. But it's definitely not the only option. I'm currently testing 4 different routes to see which one gives the best experience on a mini PC. First, there's LDPlayer. Now that one could be the best choice for people who want speed and low resource usage, especially on budget or refurbished mini PCs. Then there's BlueStacks. That's probably the most well-known option, and it usually has strong app compatibility, but it can also feel a bit heavier depending on your hardware. Then there's MuMu Player. This one interests me because the interface feels cleaner and it could look really nice on a larger 4K TV. Each of these has its own strengths and weaknesses depending on whether you value raw performance or a polished look and feel. So the question is not just which emulator works, it's which one actually feels best in your living room. For the purists out there who want to ditch the Windows ecosystem entirely, I'm also looking at a dedicated Linux setup. This is for the people who want a lightweight, stripped-back system. No Windows clutter, no unnecessary background tasks, Just a lean setup built around what you actually want the mini PC to do. I need you to comment below right now and tell me which direction we should take first. Are you starting with the speed of LDPlayer, the compatibility of BlueStacks, the UI of MuMu, or are we going all in on a dedicated Linux build? So, can a mini PC replace your Firestick? For the average person who just wants Netflix, YouTube, Prime Video and nothing else, the Firestick or Firecube is still easier. It's simple, cheap and made for the sofa. But if you're tired of limited storage, restricted layouts, blocked customization, and a device that feels less flexible every year, a mini PC starts to make a lot of sense. This isn't just about replacing one gadget with another, it's about building a setup that works for you. More power, more storage, more control, and far fewer compromises. So if you want the full setup guides, make sure you're subscribed and don't forget to comment LDPlayer, BlueStacks, MuMu or Linux. Which one should I make first? Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.